Since we started the show, we've had some brilliant engagement. We've really appreciated the questions, and we've loved reading them, actually. But we thought we'd do a brand new thing and answer some questions directly and make a bit of a show of it.
Yeah. In fact, we've made a show of some.
We have made a show of some of it, actually.
Yeah.
We have, yeah, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to work through a little list.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Cool. Okay. So Louise asks, would changing the nut, bridge and saddle make the guitar sound different based on material?
Yes.
Thanks very much, Louise. So, next question. Yeah.
I think we've said it before, whatever you do to the guitar, it's such a sensitive thing. Everything changes, Louise. It just does. And I think for how I try to imagine sound before you apply something or make a change is often how you hear it in your head is maybe how it's going to sound like. For example, if you have an ebony bridge, it's going to sound probably a bit sharper than a rosewood. It's harder, right? Or saddles and nuts. You've got bone, which is a very organic material, where if you use something like brass, it's metal. You're going to get a more metallic sound, and you can. To me, I can almost hear it before you apply it.
That's true.
And you've got that very sensitive string, which is wound with metal, and you can sort of hear it yourself if you want a woodier, warmer sound. Go for a sort of more traditional, denser material. If we wanted something sharp, metallic-like, obviously go for brass or something like that.
We have another question here from Altoid Tin Survival.
Altoid Tin Survival. What a great name.
Alto ID Tin Survival.
Alto ID?
We don't know.
Altoid.
We're just presuming.
Okay. Is that a mint? Is it? Are they mints?
Altoids?
I'm thinking of those metal tins.
Yes.
Are they called Altoids?
Are they?
I don't know.
The little ones you keep tobacco in?
Well, it's a tin.
Yes.
Altoid maybe keeps a survival kit in there. Altoid Tin Survival.
It'd be a very small survival kit.
It would be a small survival
kit. What would you put in a small tin?
Mints.
Surviving purely on mints.
What does he ask us?
He asks us from a
she, maybe.
Well, perhaps. Tonally, what is the difference between a 12th and 14th fret?
Tonally it's all down to tension and the way that the sound box is built. We do have a great episode on this. Sam will stick it there, which we do a great comparison in 12th and 14th fret. But basically, you get a very instant bloom of sound from a 12th fret, but it decays quicker, where you get less of an initial bloom with a 14th fret, but the sustain lasts for longer.
And we actually did a A-B.
We did a very, very exposing or expose of that, and we surprised ourselves.
Because the premise of the entire episode was about the length of the note. What produces the longer note?
Correct.
Wisteria guitar.
Wisteria guitar?
Wisteria guitar.
Nice name.
Good name. Would like to know, do we make a Parlor that's all solid?
We do Wisteria guitar. We make the MPA66 and SHB. In the MPA66 SHB, there's an acoustic electric version. It's made from all solid African mahogany. But, watch this space. In Yairi, we make the PYM70 and the PYM60HD 14. Both are all solid. One is a Honduran, the 14th. 14 stands for 14th fret joined to the body. So it's like a more modern Parlor.
Very cool. But watch this space.
More on the way.
Bassman.
Bassman. Yeah.
Would like to know which is preferable. A mahogany or a spruce top?
Preferable.
Well, it's
personal preference.
It is.
Preferableness. It really is personal preference. I think mahogany, lots of middle frequencies, tighter response. It hasn't got that spread of spruce. It's generally not as loud or projects as much, but it's a very tight, punchy, middle frequency orientated response. You love it for recording because you haven't got the overtones that Sitka generally produces. It's also great for live work, again, because those overtones are not so apparent. So I think try it out, see what you like personally. One thing I would say about mahogany guitars, especially with the burst on, they look great. So take that into consideration as well.
They certainly do. Douglas would like to know, we've done some stuff on this before.
Right.
Does laminate type wood last?
Yes, it does. Once you, if you do it properly, once you bind laminated wood together, it's very, very strong. It's very stable, and arguably could even last longer than solid wood if you don't look after things. Solid wood is more temperamental and is a bit more volatile, especially in climate change and humidity change. So certainly laminates will last a lifetime.
And solid woods develop over time.
Correct. Good point. Laminates, when they're dialed in, when they're new, that's what they're going to sound like. Where all solid guitars will improve, they'll open up, they'll get more responsive, and generally more pleasurable to listen to.
DFab,
yeah,
would like to know if our laminate rosewood back and sides is laminate rosewood mahogany rosewood.
Correct. Great question. You obviously saw our episode on laminates. We use mahogany and have done it for a few years now as our center wood because it's music. It's musical wood. It sounds great. We get a better tonal response rather than using some of the unknown white woods that are generally used in three-piece laminate backs and sides. So yes, it would be rosewood, mahogany, rosewood.
And any laminate?
From a certain year, yes. I think we started it in 18, 19, I believe, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit earlier. But I think if you watch our episode, shall we point? We do something where we do some of our guitars from Artist Elite, I think, wasn't it? Where we compared like laminate backs and sides on maple, acacia, and Macassar ebony, I think, wasn't it?
That sounds right. Yeah.
And you can hear the difference. So even though they all have the same center wood, the outer laminates really affected the tone. So check that out.
Yeah. Here's a question from an anonymous.
Anonymous.
Synonymous.
Synonymous.
Not synonymous, but
Just
anonymous.
Anonymous.
It's an anonymous.
It's synonymously anonymous.
Let's move on. Which Alvarez guitar is best for fingerstyle?
Oof.
That's his personal preference, right? I mean, I know what I like.
It all depends what is the most important factor for fingerstyle. String spacing, tension, because you were thinking size.
I was.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about for example, if I'm recording something, I'm thinking of what kind of guitar do I go to when I want to record a fingerstyle piece, or what would I give someone and say, "Oh, give this a try."
Probably the two most important things are string spacing, because when you're finger picking here, you don't want to be catching the strings, and down the fret end of the neck, you need enough, because you tend to be moving around quite a bit sometimes and keeping bass parts going and everything. You need enough space down there. Nearly all of our guitars have a 44.45 millimeter nut width, which is 1.75 inches, which allows us to have plenty of string spacing. So therefore, nearly all of our guitars from Artist series up are good for fingerstyle, and the neck is very comfortable. So now we're talking about tension. People tend to like picking slightly lower tension instruments, so then scale length, so maybe Parlor or an OM, you may find easier. But obviously flat pickers are using dreadnoughts. So I would say if it's about size, for comfort, look at a smaller size. If it's about tension, look at a smaller scale length. But string spacing wise, all are good.
Interesting one. Thanks for this, Jed. Jed would like to know, what is the standard tuning on the 6-string uke?
Our 6-string ukes are A to A, which would be A, D, G, C, E, A.
A octave.
Yeah.
A, D, G,
C,
C,
E,
E, A. Ah, okay. Ah, nice one.
So it's a baritone uke, but it has 6 strings. So good.
Very cool.
Great for traveling, man.
I chose one of those for our Christmas episode.
Yeah, it's great. And they've got a full width.
Like a full nut width.
Yeah. So it's pretty spacey.
I found that really interesting because, and quite a surprise.
Yeah.
That it was like playing the guitar.
Narrower frets, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thanks, Jed.
Soki Nicola.
Soki Nicola.
Perhaps Nicola Soki.
Nicola Soki. Nice name.
Apologies if I've got that wrong. Would like to know the difference between our MD60 and our MD70.
Easy. They're both the same. One is made from Mahogany, which is the 60. One is made with Rosewood back and sides, which is the 70. They're both all solid with Sitka, high-grade Sitka tops, 3A actually. So sound-wise, Mahogany, again, that sort of woodier middle sort of frequency approach. And both have lots of bass actually, but the Rosewood model, you're going to get those nice glistening trebles and very clear bass sound. But try it out.
Maybe a little louder too.
Yeah, could be. I mean, some of the ones we get here do feel that way, but try them out. They're both powerful instruments, and I guess the refinements of the sound within the tone would personal preference really.
I think it is. I mean, I love them both.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like more and more often now I'm gravitating towards the 60.
Really?
I just think I am. Yeah. I mean, I love Rosewood.
I think it's different for me. Last year, all I wanted to play was Mahogany guitars, and now I'm gravitating towards Rosewood. Why is that? Anyway.
Oh, here's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Zvonimir. Fabulous
Thank
name.
you.
Thank you very much for the question. It's very interesting, actually. Regarding laminates and climate changes. So, stating here that the impression that hard-working stage guitars for touring musicians are always made from some form of laminate, at least on the sides, to make them less sort of susceptible to moisture or temperature changes.
2 answers to that question, really. One, laminates are more stable with regard to travel, but you want a solid top, so in my opinion. So you've got laminates back and sides, definitely more stable because, 3 pieces of wood glued together, they're not as susceptible to movement due to humidity. Yeah. Second answer would be, and I've got a good name drop here. I once went to a sound check with Joe Bonamassa, who was playing our WY1 TSs, which are high-grade laminate backs and sides.
Yes.
The Aries. And he plays them because he doesn't want the resonance and potential overtones that an all-solid instrument can bring. He wants more fundamental note because he's on stage. You would not believe how loud he had the guitars coming through the monitors. And obviously, if there's more resonance going on, more overtones to deal with, if he's taking his hands off, it's feedback and control. Yeah. So he chose laminated guitars because he found them more accurate for what his playing on stage and easier to deal with.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thanks for all your amazing questions, which get us thinking sometimes, and some of them even warrant us making an episode on. So please keep the questions coming, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and we'll do our very best to answer everything here on TV. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. If you want to watch more videos like this one, click the video on the screen now.